Good afternoon, sir. This is M. Sai Varshini Verma. Now I am here to explain about the thermal power plants. As we know, electricity is the only form of energy which we can produce, we can transfer, and we can control. And this electricity is produced in vast quantities from power plants. Now let's discuss about the thermal power plants. And the topics to be covered in this presentation are introduction about the thermal power plants and how does a thermal power plant works and types of thermal power plants and environmental impact of thermal power plants, future of thermal power plants and the conclusion. Welcome to our presentation on thermal power plants, where we will explore how these facilities generate electricity and their importance in meeting the world's energy needs. A thermal power plant is a type of power generating electricity that uses heat energy to produce electricity. It is one of the most common methods of generating electricity. The primary source of heat that used is fossil fuels such as coal, oil. The process consists of several components like boiler, turbine, generator, and condenser. These thermal power plants are essential because they provide a reliable source of electricity for homes, business, and industries. They operate by converting heat into electrical energy, making them a critical component of the global energy mix. But with the growing concern over greenhouse gas emissions and climate change, it's important to understand the environmental impact of these plants and explore way to reduce it. And works. A thermal power plant works by converting the heat energy generated by fossil fuels or using nuclear reactions into mechanical energy, which is used to generate electricity. Now let's take an overview of how thermal power plant works. Fuel combustion. This is a process begins with the combustion of fossil fuels such as coal. In some cases, nuclear reactions are also used instead of fossil fuels. The fuel is burned in a boiler by producing a high temperature and high pressure stream of gas. Boiler. The hot gases produced from the fuel combustion heat up water in tubes lining the boiling walls. The water is converted into steam, which increases the temperature and pressure as it absorbs the heat. Now let's talk about steam turbine. The high pressure steam is directed into a steam turbine, a large device with a series of blades or vanes mounted on a shaft. As steam flows through the turbine, it causes the blades to rotate. Now let's talk about the condenser. After passing through the turbine, the steam enters the condenser where it is cooled and condensed back into the water. The process creates a vacuum that helps maximize the efficiency of the steam turbine. The cooling system. Thermal power plants require a cooling system to dissipate excess heat. This is typically done by cooling towers or water from nearby rivers, lakes. The cooling water absorbs heat from the condenser and is circulated back to the source by cooling again. And now this is the working of thermal power plant. The basic process involves heating water in a boiling to create steam, which then passes through a turbine, causing it to spin, generate electricity. The steam is then cooled and condensed back into water, which is returned to the boiler to be heated again. This cycle continues as long as this fuel is to burn and water to heat. Now let's discuss about the types of thermal power plants. Coal-fired thermal power plants. These are the most common type of thermal power plant. They are used to cool fuel. They use coal as fuel to generate steam, which in turn drives turbines to produce electricity. The advantage of coal-fired power plants is the relatively low cost and high reliability. However, they are also the most polluting type of thermal power plant, emitting large amount of CO2, sulfur dioxide, and other pollutants. Gas-fired thermal power plants are another type of thermal power plants. They use natural gas as fuel to generate steam, which drives turbines to produce electricity. Gas-fired power plants are more efficient than coal-fired power plants, and however, they are also more expensive to build and operate. Now let's talk about the nuclear power plants. These are the power plants to generate electricity using nuclear reactors. They use uranium as fuel to generate heat, which in turn generates steam to drive turbines. Nuclear power plants are the most efficient type of thermal power plant and emit no greenhouse gases. However, they are also the most controversial due to some concerns about the safety and waste disposal. We should take more safety measures during the nuclear thermal power plants because um, now let's talk about the environmental impact of thermal power plants. How it impacts environment. Is there any advantages or disadvantages? These thermal power plants have a significant impact on environment, particularly in terms of air and water pollution. The combustion of fossil fuels releases a variety of pollutants into atmosphere which are very dangerous and harmful to the humans, including sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, and particulate matter. These pollutants can cause respiratory diseases for humans and animals, as well as contribute to accident and other forms of environmental damage, which damage the humans and the whole environment. These thermal power plants will damage the whole environment. It shows a large impact on environment. In addition to air pollution, thermal power plants are also consume large amounts of water for cooling purposes. This can lead to water scarcity in areas where water resources are already limited. Thermal power plants are also responsible for emitting greenhouse gases, which contribute to climate change. Finally, the land use required for building and operating thermal power plants can have significant impact on local ecosystems and wildlife. Let's discuss about the future of thermal power plants. The future of thermal power plants is likely to be influenced by the global shift towards renewable energy sources and the need to reduce carbon emissions. As concerns about climate change and air pollution intensify, there is a growing emphasis on transitioning away from fossil fuels. The transition is expected to result in a decline in the construction of new thermal power plants, particularly those reliant on coal. However, existing thermal power plants will still play a role in energy mix during the transition period. Efforts to improve the efficiency of these plants and explore carbon capture and storage technologies are ongoing. Hybrid systems that integrate renewable energy with thermal generation may also emerge. Overall, a long-term future of thermal power plants is likely to increasingly limited as the world moves towards cleaner and more sustainable energy options. As we move towards a more sustainable future, the thermal power plants are also evolving to become more environmentally friendly. One of the key innovations in this field is the development of carbon capture and storage technology, which involves capturing carbon dioxide emissions from power plants and storing them underground. Another promising technology is the use of biomass as a fuel source, which produces fewer greenhouse gas emissions than uh, traditional fuels. In addition to these technological advancements, there is also a growing trend towards smaller, more power plants that can be located closer to the communities they serve. This not only reduces transmission losses but also allows for greater flexibility in responding to changes in energy demand. As we continue to explore new ways to generate power, it is clear that the future of thermal power plants is bright and full of potential. Thermal power plants. In conclusion, thermal power plants play a crucial role in meeting the world's energy demands. They provide a reliable and cost effective source of electricity that is essential for powering homes, business, and industries. While there are concerns about their environmental impact, it is important to note that new technologies and innovations are being developed to reduce their carbon footprint. For example, some power plants are using renewable sources of energy such as biomass and geothermal energy, while others are implementing carbon capture and storage technology to reduce greenhouse emissions. And as well as towards the future, it is clear that the thermal power plants will continue to be an important part of energy mix. With the right investments and policies, we can ensure that they are used in a sustainable and responsible manner while also meeting the growing of energy needs of our society. Thank you for giving this wonderful opportunity to express about the thermal power plants. It has been a privilege to share my knowledge and insights with you. Presenting in the front of such as engaged and attentive like has been truly rewarding. Once again, thank you, sir, for giving this opportunity to express about the thermal power plants, how it works, and to share information about thermal power plants and how it impacts the future.